Mhm. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lost in Translation panel on HAHCon. Today we're going to discuss some hardships of translation of different media from English to Russian and vice versa. If you have any questions which you want to ask ask us as translators, so just like Bronies or Russian people, you can do it freely in the chat. This panel going to be hosted in two languages, both English and Russian. We will start in English and then we'll see how it goes, but we will have a Russian speech sometimes, so if you're an English speaker and hear Russian speech, don't worry, we'll be back to English then eventually, but we kind of need to balance it between our viewers, so yeah. Today your hosts are Neflarian, Doof, Vi, Slanish, and Angry Shoot. Hello, guys.
What's up?
Hello. Hi, folks.
So yeah. I really wish... yeah, I definitely can feel you, F. Sergeant. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your nickname, but yeah.
Yeah, I can speak 6 languages, so yeah.
Yes, Lanish is probably one of the most competent translators here. He has quite a lot of experience here. But yeah. So yeah, let's start with maybe sharing some stories. Because despite that translation work doesn't seem like a bit exciting one, but there is quite a few stories I think each one can share about, like either fix or people they work with eventually. So yeah. Slanish, maybe you have something to say?
Yeah, so hey everybody, my name is Slaneshi, and you can hear from my accent that I am probably not from Russia. You may start thinking I'm actually not from Russia, I'm from Belarus. It's like a country near Russia to the west of it, which you've never even heard about, I guess. But yeah, I've been translating for the pony community for, I don't know, 3 years, maybe less, maybe more. I usually translate games like TSSF and Buck and whatever. I do live translation sometimes. That has been translating VAs at conventions or interviewing VAs at the radio. We have a Russian pony radio, like you folks have Ponyville FM. We have a radio every Pony Roo, which actually has real news. Yes, we are probably the only radio among the pony crowd that has actual news and has news coverage. As far as cool translation stories go, wow, there's so many of them. I think I'll think about one of them. The Russian radio is called Radio Every Pony Roo. You can find that one on the Ponyville FM, or no, what's it? Ponyville Live website, and there is one. It also supports hoof sounds. Yeah, they have a stream starting real soon or whatever podcast.
In an hour or so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically promoting the radio. I'm a horrible person.
How dare you?
Yeah, so guys, while I'm thinking of a story, I'd probably let others introduce themselves. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I think I will start with myself. My name is Neflarian, and I begin I begin getting into translation from the beginning of season 5 of MLP, when I joined the anonymous group of Anon to Anon, which is basically like Russian English board group which translates pony episodes, but from English to Russian, in terms of like subtitles. And then someday our technician, Star Dragon, just tell me, hey, where is this guy Angry Shooty, and he's translating this great fic I want to read, so why don't you go help him to do it fast? And I'm just like, okay. And that's how I got into more broad translation, like fics and other stuff, and now I have like shit ton of projects to work on, and yeah, that was quite a journey, but it did give me a lot of great stories, I guess, and moments I will share with you in a few moments, but I think the others might want to introduce them first. So Doof, maybe? Doof?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would you like to introduce yourself to the chat and our audience?
Yes, of course. Hello, guys. I'm Doof. I don't have much to say about myself. That I translate some fics and well, that's it.
Yeah, and also comics, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, some.
Yeah. So, Shruti?
Hello guys, my name is Shruti, and I don't able to speak on English because that sounds a lot disgusting. I really hope that my channel mates can translate to you what I will speak. Really hope.
Yeah, I sure we will. Why?
Hello there. I'm Vi, and I'm horrible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
I'm
your group
part
is
of,
literally called horrible translators.
Yeah, our first project was translate Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipping folder on into Russian, and some other games. Also, we translate few episodes from DWK. Maybe you
Heard about it.
yes, totally legit recap. Also, sometimes we translate comics, but it's boring and.
Oh.
Yes, it is. I wholeheartedly agree. Translating comics is boring.
Boring but fun.
No, it's boring.
You're boring.
I think I think I agree with that because translating comics is like one of the easiest, at least for me, in terms of like lack of text. I mean, there's a lot of work with like how do you call the шрифты in English? Yeah. Fonts, there we go. Yeah. There's a lot of work with like fonts and fitting in and style and stuff, but in just like actual translation of text, it's probably one of the easiest ones.
I disagree, actually.
Oh, really?
For me, translating comics is probably one of the hardest things because there are too few references which I can use in the text. There is basically no text to use as reference, as whatever. And basically comic books, more often than not, have the worst thing a translator or an interpreter, whatever, can encounter, and that is jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well. Basically, if you want to terrify a translator out of his wits, tell him to translate a joke. Which probably has cultural roots in whatever culture he's translating it from, and those roots are pretty much non-existent in the culture he's translating it to. It's like a huge problem.
Yes, you cannot imagine how much I sympathize to you right now, because with our fics, especially our main story we translating, which is Fallout Ecclesia Speak, this is a constant problem. Like every single chapter we do this thing over and over again, and yeah, I heard about joke and bad nightmares. You've heard nothing, my friend.
I've heard about a great case of a person doing a spectacular job with fixing it. Basically, I think it was during a UN meeting or whatever, so a lot of people gather, and there are lots of translators, simultaneous translators, whatever those are called, synchronous translators, I don't know. Anyway, so a Korean speaker speaks to the audience and tells them, like, okay, I'm gonna tell a joke. So he tells the joke, and everybody laughs. The Korean guy is really impressed, so he after the speech or whatever, he comes to his translator and says, like, wow, guy, you are really awesome. How did you translate this joke? I mean, it has so many puns, and it's very deeply rooted in the Korean culture. He said, I did not. I basically told the audience that this is a Korean joke that has deep roots in the Korean culture and therefore is untranslatable, so please laugh. And they did. And that's it.
Well, that's fair enough, but yeah. So, Motorwave in chat asks, but isn't overcoming challenges is the best thing that allows you to grow as a translator? And in fact, yes, I actually have this feeling quite often as well, because despite how many hours I spent drinking whiskey and staring at my screen, and thinking how the fuck I should translate this. Why would you write this way?
This is the only way to translate anything remotely connected to Project Horizons. Just drink lots of whiskey.
Yeah. In fact, I have a bottle of rum right now with me, but I'm not going to drink it, obviously. But still, yeah, I'm prepared for the next chapter. But yeah, especially because I think we can come to the stories right now. One of the most infamous between our group, which makes our local meme, is Wyoming accent. Why not coffee asking nails? And because coffee isn't working for me, I don't know, it just doesn't have any effects personally. I don't know. Biology.
I don't drink coffee. Coffee makes me sleepy.
Yeah, but that too. I don't know why it just works. Once again, biology. But yeah, back to translation. So we have this thing called Wyoming accent. Like, not we, but American people have this thing, and it is horrible. So basically, it's like it's accent in which entire words missing. And the fact is, we were sitting and trying to translate this sentence for several hours and discussing how we could translate it. So when I came back to original offer, I'm like, okay, so we're trying to translate your fic and we stumbled upon this sentence. So here how we mean to set it, which one is correct? Turns out it's neither. Like, the original meaning behind the sentence is pretty much impossible to get. I pretty much ran this sentence through native speakers 4 different times. Not a single native speaker was able to get the correct meaning of the sentence by reading it. That's how hard it was. And we had to translate it. Like, I don't know why HAHCon decided to use this god-awful accent, but yeah. So yeah, we had a lot of trouble and a lot of whiskey was drunk that evening. But yes, since then it's kind of a local meme, which we always just like, yeah, it's Wyoming accent, go figure. To all the Fallout Equestria fans, Wyoming accent is the accent the dealer speaks in the story. So if you read Fallout Equestria speak to I don't know if somebody used it, it might be just HAHCon thing, but in Portugal, dealer speaks with this exact accent, so yeah.
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers, obviously. I just, throwing in that for reference for those you who might have read the story. So yeah, that's probably the most memorable one. The other one is, okay, I think I'm going to be the one after the rest of you finish, so.
Yeah, I have a great story about how I actually joined the radio as a translator and how I basically joined the translator force, the Russian translator force of translators. I don't know. So basically it was HAHCon 2015. HAHCon is the biggest Russian pony convention at all. Basically, it's a convention held in Moscow. So in 2015, actually the best year for the HAHCon, I went there for the first time ever. I wasn't anybody in the fandom. I didn't have any horse fame back then. Now I maybe do. I don't know. But yeah, I was a nobody, just another brony. And basically, what happened was there was a Skype panel with some VA. I don't. There were like 3 Skype panels or whatever. So for the first day, they hired an actual translator, as in a person who was supposed to translate from Russian into English all the questions that we asked, and make sure that our translation, like the translation of the guys that were handling it, the hosts of the panel, was to the point and pretty much accurate. Now, the thing about translation is that you always have to be aware of the theme you're translating about.
Subject at hand.
Yeah, thanks. Of the subject. So if you're translating pony stuff, you should be aware what a brony is, like what a clopper is, whatever. You should be aware of the nitty-gritty technical vocabulary, let's call it like that. This person was not. To tell the truth, I was basically I was basically looking at it with horrified eyes and thinking, you know what, I can do better than that. Which, incidentally, I did. In 2016, there was another HAHCon, and back then, like, I already got into the translation thingy, I was a part of the radio, and I was invited, not exactly as a guest, but basically as a staffer, volunteer thing, to translate for a panel, which I did. And it went well. So in 2015, I said that I could do a better job, and in 2016, I get to prove it. I think this is one of the best stories I've got so far.
Yeah, that is indeed a great story. But yes, so maybe some of us want to tell their stories as well. Maybe we want to tell them in Russian if they can't in English, and me and then we will try to translate it to our English audience. So, Shuti, why do, I don't know, in English or in Russian? What stories do you have? If any?
Историю именно про что?
Что угодно, просто какие-нибудь первые из перевода, локальные... Первые из перевода, локальные мемы, как ты познакомился с HAHCon, что хочешь, просто трави.
Ну хорошо, то есть я свою карьеру переводчика начал...
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, one moment. For English, it's time to Russian, so don't worry. We will try to translate it later on.
Я ее начал с Homelands by Sonder, и это было очень тяжело, потому что тогда я вообще не владел английским, мой уровень был ниже 3. И как-то я не очень много внес импакта во все это, но позже, где-то то ли на 10 главе, то ли на 12-13, я узнал, что ребята HAHCon пишут speak. И они это позиционировали как продолжение тогда. И, в общем, я очень этим заинтересовался. Я написал главному переводчику Желтиусу и спросил, когда ты, черт, будешь это переводить? Он мне говорит, никогда. Я устал. Я думаю, блин, что делать? Ладно, посижу, подумаю. Пишу потом своему другу и спрашиваю, ты знаешь, что продолжение есть? Нет. Я ему показываю, он говорит, отлично, когда главный ваш переводчик будет переводить? Я не говорю, никогда. Мы такие уже оба в депрессии сидим и думаем, что нам делать. В итоге решили, ладно, давайте я буду сам переводить. В общем, мялся, наверное, 5 месяцев где-то на одном месте и начал переводить. Это было ужасно, оно до сих пор остается ужасным. И, наверное, первую главу я переводил 11 месяцев. Ну а дальше мне помогли Фларион и Стардрагон. И дальше я вот оказался здесь.
Okay, so a bit of translation. So originally Shuti started his translation career from trying to translate to Project Horizon Homelands, but he wasn't very good at English, so he didn't bring in much impact to the team, so he was felt kind of useless. And somewhere chapter, I believe it was 10 to 13, he learned that HAHCon, one of Project Horizon's editors, decided to write her own story, and this was kind of like a direct sequel to the Project Horizon. So Shuti asked Joltius, who was who was responsible for the original Project Horizon translation, like, dude, stop, where are you going to translate this? Joltius said, never, I'm done, I'm quit, I'm tired, just no. So when he came to his other friend, Shuti Palagata был set.
Yes,
so he came to his other friend, Sefaru, as I guessed correctly, and tell him like, hey, where is this continuation of Project Horizons? And he just like, okay, where is your main guy going to translate it? Never. So they've been kind of depressed about it, and when we decided that, hey, shoot it, like, I can translate it myself and stuff, we can translate it. So we began to translate it, and originally it was very, very hard. It took Shuti 11 months to translate the first chapter, and it was kind of horrible, and it still is, because we haven't went and revisited it. Well, we actually did, but not nearly enough to make it at least somewhat readable. The first 2 to 3 chapters of our translation is absolutely horrendous, and I will be first to admit it. But yeah, but then I came to help, which was also another story how exactly that happened. But yeah, I joined on chapter 3, and here we are sitting here and talking to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, that's his story. So, Дух, why?
Дух, давай ты.
Дух?
О, даже не знаю, что сказать.
No, English, Russian, just whatever, guys. Any of your experiences from the translation? Maybe something hard you encounter, maybe something silly or something weird, which, I don't know, some phrases and stuff. Anything.
Well, as you can hear from my pronunciation, I not the best person in saying more.
I mean, you can talk to Russian. We're going to translate it just we did with Shooty, so don't worry about that. Just do whatever more comfortable to you.
Ладно, тогда продолжу на русском, если не против.
Yeah, so this again time for the Russian stories, so we will translate it later. Go ahead.
Ну, вообще, цветные кони были тем, что в итоге натолкнуло меня стать переводчиком. Это было довольно давно, еще в 2012 осенью, когда я решил прочитать фойе, что в итоге вылилось в целый месяц чтения за ноутбуком по ночам. Но по прошествии этого месяца я в итоге влился в фэндом, а уже в декабре решил попробовать сделать что-нибудь полезное и присоединился к команде перевода «Горизонтов». Ну, дальше все немного пошло, я немного улучшал скилл, пока на Tabinoid, сайт, на котором переводился, собственно, ПГ, не закрылся, из-за чего мне пришлось оттуда уйти, ну и заниматься уже этим не на той площадке, а как-то отдельно.
Is that it?
Ну, думаю, для вступления пойдет.
Okay, so Duf's story is that what year was it again?
2012.
Yeah, so basically he came to the Russian world through Colorful Ponies. In 2012 he found something called Fallout Equestria. And actually tried to read it, and after countless sleeping nights, or rather a month of sleepless nights, behind his laptop, he finished the fic and joined a fandom. Then he decided to try to do something useful and join the translation group for Project Horizons, and once again, here he is. So yeah, why? Do you have anything to share?
Ну, собственно, моя история старта переводчика началась с, как я и говорил, с ТССФ, а именно когда я увидел, как первая версия этого перевода этой игры выглядела, точнее, финальный результат. Он мне очень сильно не понравился. В принципе, это, можно сказать, еще в мягкой степени, насколько мне сильно не зашел, потому что сверстано было ужасно. Это еще и это для человека, который в верстке и в дизайне документов понимает ровно ноль. Было принято экстренное решение, чтобы сделать это все абсолютно с нуля. И единственное, что мы взяли, это за основу текст. Работа над дизайном макетов была сделана с нуля, плюс еще к тому времени начали выходить дополнения, куча дополнений официальных, неофициальных, фанатских, плохих, ужасных, хороших, отвратительных, различных. Когда ТСФ был закончен и он стал выглядеть очень даже презентабельно, чем я до сих пор, честно говоря, даже горжусь. Но работы еще предстоит много на самом деле. Мы начали работать над другими нашими сторонними проектами. Ну, о них попозже расскажу. Что, в принципе, могу сказать о Сефе, в этой игре очень много каламбуров, которые связаны на английской культуре, о которых у меня не было никакого представления на момент старта. Ну и плюс еще узнали как минимум целую кучу референсов к классным фильмам.
Is this it?
Ну, думаю, пока да.
Окей,
Нет, ничего, извините.
Ларин такой, это все, ну да, ну и ладно.
Sorry about that. So yeah, as I said before, he began with the SSF, which is Twilight Sparkle Secret Shipping Folder, which is a tabletop game you may have heard about, especially if you're visiting conventions. And originally, he just watched at the initial version of translation, and he just think that this beyond terrible. He decided to fix it and kind of join in. And that experience helped him because to learn a lot of new like movie references, like which he didn't know before, because like there's a lot of different puns and jokes, which is incredibly hard to translate, because that is mostly like humor-oriented game, and yeah, that was rather hard for them to do, I would imagine. And yeah, translating jokes, puns, and other stuff could be quite hard as well, indeed. But yeah, so now I would like to come back to another story of mine and kinda go into another topic, which is going to be related to it. So in chapter X1, we had like also this extremely weird like speech patterns, which also it's not like puns or anything, it's just like extremely weird speech patterns, like the word order and like just the way the character speaks is extremely weird and creepy, and it was designed that way. So when you have to not only to translate it for it to have like a meaning in Russian, you also need to convey the original style and the author's intent. And this chapter probably, considering that I was probably the person responsible for the chapter, like, because usually we work in teams, but it was a short chapter, so it was just me who translated it. Like, it probably took me like 4 or 5 days to finish it, and I had to push deadline twice, because I always go back to the author and just like, hey, can you answer me this, can you answer me this, can you answer me that, like how would be better to translate this, because it was complete nightmare to translate, basically. That's all just very, very weird. And it's not even like an accent and stuff, it's just like speech patterns which nobody use ever. Like in real life, nobody ever uses this. It's like overly cartoonishly villain stuff, and I don't know, it's just like weird. But yeah, which brings us to like, what do you guys find personally like the hardest part of translation? Like, is it like idioms, puns, metaphors, accents, something else? Like, what when you try to translate fic, like, what is like the worst thing for you to translate? Like, just which basically like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to quit level of hard.
Puns, horrible puns.
Really depends. Yeah. Like, I was supposed to translate a Russian fic into English, but then real life caught up with me, and I had to quit it because, well, real life.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, when it comes to translation, when I'm actually translating stuff, maybe the culture is the hardest part, because as a person that was brought up in Slavic ways, I usually don't know everything about like the American Western culture, whatever. So whenever I encounter something new which I haven't heard about, it takes some time to Google it, maybe to get to know the reference and then translate it back. Also, finding enough native speakers to proofread your text is a thing. And probably English punctuation, yes. English punctuation rules are very easy, but for me, me as in Russian speaker first and English speaker later, it's harder because Russian has like very rigid rules of punctuation which are very easy to follow, but there is a fuck ton of them, and English is kind of lax with them, and there are like two systems of punctuation, so it's really hard not to mess it up, not to forget about this fucking Oxford comma or whatever.
Oh yeah, I was about to mention just like Oxford comma, am I right?
Yeah.
But yeah, as our user can't pronounce nickname is saying, English punctuation rules optional.
Yes,
And-
it's pretty much it. This is the problem.
Yeah, that's always I'm just like looking at this and just like, man, I would put like 10 different commas in that sentence.
Yes, because in Russian that's basically what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, just
And,
like
yeah, every time I go, like, at my work, there is a group of people that hired an English teacher and they're learning English. So every time I show up to the class, I ask the teacher one thing and one thing only. Could you please provide me, like, with the exercises on English punctuation rules, like the British version, the American version, anything goes, and they fail all the time because English punctuation is never covered here in Russia due to its redundancy, basically. Yes, it is optional, and yes, nobody cares about it here, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah.
I had to learn about Oxford comma myself, and I had to train myself on using it, because in Russian you never use, well, you very seldom you use a comma before and or. And in English, it's basically what Oxford comma does.
yeah, but basically I'm trying to write, I think, myself a fanfic myself in English just to like challenge myself and stuff. So I send the prologue to my English proofreader, and he just like she's just like, you shouldn't use commas here, and I'm, but why? Because I put a lot of like different Oxford commas, and not just of the, like a lot of commas in there. And she just like, no, you shouldn't use commas in here. It English doesn't work like this. And it's like, but why though? it's so much better with commas, but yeah, English punctuation is weird. So yeah, at this time I would like to remind all of our listeners, both English and Russian, that if you have some questions for us, or if you want to request some fics translated to either English or Russian, you can post all this in the chat, and while doing so, I think maybe somebody else can share their hardships of trying to translate something. Шути, Дуф, why?
Можно
Да, чё?
объяснить?
Окей, Вай, proceed.
Кстати, эхо ужасное.
Really? Hold on, Вай, say something.
Раз-два раз, проверка.
Ну, я один это слышу.
Эхо, да, есть какой-то шум, но я бы не сказал, что он как-то сильно мешает.
У меня есть легкий фоновый шум, это помеха микрофона, и иногда еще есть посторонний звук телевизора, но я не думаю,
Да, но
что он сейчас должен быть.
Эха не было. Sorry,
Я
about that,
удивлен, как...
few technical difficulties. I apologize for that. Don't worry.
I'm surprised about echo.
Also, if you're on Steam, tell me if you hear echo from Vibe, because we got feedback that there is one, and basically we don't hear it. So if you hear an echo when Vibe speak, please tell us, and we will try to. In the meantime, Vibe, please proceed with your story about the hardships you're facing with translation work.
Самые большие трудности, которые я могу вспомнить, это наши долгие долбление башкой об клавиатуру во время перевода пересказов в DVK. Господи, двойные, а то и тройные значения слов, которых не то что я, некоторые англичане, наверное, не знали.
Yeah. So, as I said, like, the hardest part of his personal experience with translation is the times when they had to sit down and bang their heads against keyboard while trying to translate TWK's totally legit recaps. Because sometimes he uses words with double and sometimes triple meaning, which not even all native English speakers can probably understand. And trying to properly convey them is just a unique experience. Yes?
Потому что, я хочу объяснить в плане. Может, я, конечно, не того человека спрашивал, который мне пытался объяснить, что это значит. Но, как я и сказал, большинство людей, которых я спрашивал, тоже не знали, что не давали мне внятного объяснения, что именно здесь хотел сказать DK.
А Urban Dictionary ты не спрашивал?
Вот единственное, чувак, спрашивает постоянный раз, каждый раз Urban Dictionary себе дороже.
Не знаю, нормально. Постоянно это делаю.
Я
бы
больше
сказал,
никогда не
что
смогу
это
нормально смотреть на ножницы,
спорный
ботинки и на стакан.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit. I decided to provide a little bit more of context. So basically, maybe he asked the wrong person, but whenever he was coming into like native English speakers and stuff, with asking them for explanation of some words, they more often than not just was given some very vague and non-descriptive stuff. Basically, they didn't know it themselves. So yeah, that's fake. And when Slangy suggests why you didn't try to consult Urban Dictionary, at which I said that it's not the best course of action because I will never see in the same light stuff like scissors, glasses, and boots.
Сникерс.
Sneakers, yeah, sneakers. So yeah, it's great. Maybe.
I don't know. Urban Dictionary is my friend when I'm translating. But yeah, English, being a very polysemantic language, it's quite a doozy to navigate sometimes.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. So,
What about multitone?
Ну, я думаю, что согласен.
Multitron is okay, but I usually use both Multitron and, I don't know, Oxford, Cambridge, whatever dictionary that can prove the meaning. Because Multitron is translated by randoms, just
Indeed.
like Urban Dictionary, and Oxford and Cambridge and Longman, Collins, Macmillan, those are respectable dictionaries.
yes, that is the best course of action when translating, just to go the official dictionary. As well, when you're translating something from English, from Russian into English, it's like Ozhikov and Dal. But yeah, Shuti was saying something. I'm sorry, Shuti, please continue.
Да, окей. То есть мы говорим сейчас о самых проблемных местах в переводе, верно?
Yep, you are absolutely correct.
Ну, не знаю, на самом деле я по большей части согласен с тем, что уже произнесли, то, что большую часть проблем приносят нам каламбуры со своими неоднозначными значениями. То есть, ну, идиомы у них, скорее всего, уже есть аналог переведенный. Ну, то есть на английском варианте, то есть как у нас белая ворона, это в английском языке black sheep. И, ну, не знаю, что еще мне добавить.
I think that's more than enough. So yeah, we pretty much agreed with all that was said above, and puns are bane of our existence. And yeah, especially here example because the phrase which in English goes as black sheep, in Russian sounds like white crow. Because yeah, it does. So don't try to think about it too hard, but just it's kind of weird like that. So
Yeah, it's basically puns, idioms. Yeah, you can do nothing about it.
Yeah, also metaphors, because when you see a lot of like fire or water, like fire metaphors are fine, but because at least in fic we translating, there is a lot of like water metaphors, and just like Jesus Christ, sometimes when you try to, because when you once again when you try to translate fic, it's like you not only need to convey the meaning, but the original author's style and tricks he used in his story, so it goes like it's about twice as hard when you facing like metaphors, idioms, and accents, especially hard and complicated one like Texas and Wyoming and any combination.
And top it up, try translating not to Russian but to English, from Russian into English. So
Yes,
you're basically translating from a mother tongue to a different tongue, you know, which you're not really familiar, the culture of which you're not really familiar with because the culture is so vast. So have fun with that. Enjoy. So much fun.
I mean, we currently doing a translation of Russian fic to English, so I mean, to self-promotion. It's A City of a Thousand Bridges by Dark Knight. Yes, we already translated 2 chapters, and we have the third somewhere on the way, maybe.
Может, вы еще игрушку возьмете? Слушайте, заберите мне эту игрушку.
Слишком много, прости, мы город будем перекидывать времени.
А может, заберем?
Нет.
Тогда вторую часть напишут.
В соло переводи.
Я не буду это переводить. Все, я отошел от этого дела.
Мы тоже.
Dark Knight, прости, мы пытались.
Yeah, so sorry about that again. Just Russian inside translators jokes, but yeah. So if you want to read some stuff which was translated from Russian into English, you can search Dark Knight on Fanfic and the City of a Thousand Beaches.
You can search for Bond. Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes. Oh yes.
Why would you do this to our audience?
Hell no!
Oh yeah. There was a guy who wrote horrible fanfiction in Russian, mostly clubfics, and then he translated those clubfics via Google Translate and posted them to fanfiction, and they're still there. And they're horrible.
They're very horrible, so unless you really hate yourself, do not go and look for them.
No. You can do it, but you need copious amounts of drugs and alcohol beforehand.
What's the name again? The name of the...
Yeah, this is the author. This is the author.
Got to know.
So, yes, go to your dealer, get some of your favorite, whatever you like, and then enjoy. Yes.
Okay, here is another one, and the fic is called...
I'm probably a horrible person for saying all this at HAHCon, maybe. HAHCon?
Yeah. Oh, never mind. I think you should be fine.
Yes, I'm a Slaneshi. What did you expect?
So yeah, the writer and the fic in question, which I brought up, I also posted in chat. So it's a fic about bad ponies or festrals, as they called in the fic, and it's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. So if you're into that stuff, I suggest you to give it a look. As well, if you are a Russian listener, you can look it up in Russian. It's already been finished in Russian, so yeah, you might look it up and enjoy it. So yeah. Do you have anything you would like to share as to what kind of like hard and terrible stuff you had to went through while translating your fics and what?
That's not so much, or I don't even know. I also tried to translate some fics from Russian into English, and that was bad. Yeah. But I think I will try to work on it and some kind to make them better.
So yeah. But yeah, actually I would like to bring up an interesting question. Isam said something about bad ponies. Yes, we said we were talking about fanfic called The City of a Thousand Bridges, or Город Тысячи мостов, если по-русски. You can find it on either Pony Fiction, which is the reincarnation of stories, or on the film fiction. On the film fiction, there is 2 chapters available. On the stories, it's been finished. Yeah, but that's something about bad ponies. But yeah, I would like to raise up an interesting question because I think none of us was able to figure it out, but maybe somebody from our audience or can help us. How do you not? How can you not hit hours upon hours on the single sentence? Do you have any cure from that? Because I know I can sit up to 4 to 5 hours just try to figure out one sentence which decided to be needlessly complicated. So I don't know.
I think
Maybe
we should ask Kalotho about this. The guy who translated Background Pony from English into Russian. Yes, Background Pony is notorious for being extremely, and I mean extremely, hard to translate because it is so fancy in terms of wording. So you have to be fancy in terms of Russian wording as well. And as far as I know, Alofov spent lots and lots of time and sweats and other fluids on this. He was reported to be at one of the conventions and he was looking like pale as death or whatever.
Oh. But yeah, actually I can say something because we are doing the review of Background Pony on the other project. So I'm reading it in English and other people reading it in Russian, so we were able to compare the translation. And although sometimes I disagree with some of his choices, but it's very rarely, and the translation of Background Pony is quite exquisite indeed, because I had the chance to compare it, and yes. And it is an extremely hard fic to translate, mostly because it's written in purple prose. And purple prose is really, really hard.
I have no idea what purple prose is, but I know that he translated alone, and, well, I commend him.
Yeah, basically purple prose is like extremely, sometimes needlessly colorful language.
Oh yes, yes, extremely fancy. Right.
Yeah,
it's extremely fancy.
Yeah, it's not like proper definition, but you know, you can look it up if you're interested after the fact. But yeah, so maybe some of you have stories that keep you hours upon hours on one sentence or paragraph. Anyone? Or is it just like me and Shooty, our with Shooty's personal problem?
Do you remember that author with Spy and those?
Oh, yes, I remember you showed me that, yes. So, I guess that's take you for quite a long time to figure out as well, right?
I didn't do it, but I still didn't do it. Yes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Whenever I'm stuck on a sentence, I have two little words that help me out with it. Fuck it. So this is what I do. I fuck it and I move on, or I don't, and I go, I don't know, drink coffee, play games, whatever.
Indeed,
and then it just comes, to me.
That's good, but yeah. Originally, I said the exact same words, but except I'm saying this in DMs to the writer, just like, dude, why the fuck did you write here and why? Yeah, because I think that I actually like a lot about our personal experience from translation is we are lucky enough to be able to work very closely to the original writer. Like, we always ask her a lot of questions. She's doing proofreadings with us and other stuff. So it actually helps a lot with translation when you actually want to get meaning behind some sentences and trying to figure out what the fuck was there said. When you're able to just PM person and just like, okay, what the fuck were you trying to say here? Or sometimes I even work as like second editor and just like, okay, dude, Hardshine, darling, this is
fucking
horrible.
bullshit.
No, yeah, this bullshit, this sentence is horrible, you need to rephrase it, and here is why. And she's like, it does look horrible, I really should rephrase it, and we kind of discussing it. So,
yeah, the problem with this is when you're translating the finished work, since you're translating, you have to get into the nitty-gritty, and you get to see the structure of the sentence and the structure of the text as a whole, and you see so many fuck-ups, you might get started to think that, like, I'm usually translating the stuff I like. I read it first, and if I like it, I can translate it. But when I get to it, when I get down to the bottom of things, to the nitty-gritty, I often feel like, what the fuck am I just doing? What the fuck am I translating right now? This is fucking bullshit. How in the world did I like it?
Yeah. But I guess story and characters mostly, but yeah, if only editors cared enough to do it, am I right? I mean, HAHCon does have editors, and they're actually pretty good. I mean, there is sometimes that slips under the radar from time to time, so yeah. Considering that usual number of edits on her chapter is about 500 to 600 different edits, and only from one editor, not talking about another, I think they do quite a lot of work, so it's only natural that they have something slipped here and there. So yeah, when we're translating, we have this work, and consider that he is responsive and very responsive to change things in her story. It's very easy to come to her, okay, that sentence looked horrible, in both Russian and English. Please change it. And she either explains sometimes that we're wrong and the sentence is supposed to look like that because, well, we're not native English speakers, we also can be wrong about that. But a lot of times which is like, yeah, you know, I don't know why I write this way. Yeah, that looks pretty damn horrible. I'm sorry, I will actually change it. So, which is why I really enjoy translating this specific fic. And a lot of other fics we not a lot, like we have Frozen Skies, which I still haven't posted. Like I promise you, I will post Frozen Skies by the end of this week, basically today or tomorrow. I will do it. There still some preparations need to be, and synchronicity we always try to. At least I always try to somehow make a connection with writers and see if they will be able to provide some help in translation, because it proved to me that the more the original writer is involved with translation, the better translation is, because you have better ways to convey the original meaning, because you can better understand it. Yeah.
Yes, and voice your butthurt to them.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I did this quite a lot as well. But yeah. But also, I heard the opinion from another person who doing translation from time to time that that's actually a bad thing, like that you don't supposed to work with after, and that it's somehow your translation. I personally disagree with him, but what's your take on it? Like, is it good thing when you closely work with the writer, or is it like somehow can hurt the translation and the original? I'm sorry, I'm very vague because I can't understand why he said it, because in my mind it's only benefits from it, but maybe you can say something else. Yeah?
I think it's been too old school. See, the Soviet school of translation the basic principle of Soviet school of translation was to explain everything, to make sure that that your reader understands everything. So here is a quick example. For example, there is a sentence, say, and then mom ate a burger, a hamburger, whatever. Since the Soviet Union people did not know what a hamburger is, they would translate it as, I don't know, a patty sandwich or butterbrot. Butterbrot with meat. This is how they would translate a burger into Russian, which is inaccurate because it's not a butterbrot, it's not a sandwich. Exactly, it's a burger. So yes, they need to understand what a burger is. Right now, it is shifting towards making the reader Google if they don't know stuff. But both kind of struggle right now. I mean, struggle with each other. But yeah, I think this is more of a history thingy and legacy. Old school translators trying to tell you, younger crowd, how it used to be like damn kids or whatever. Old timers being old timers, basically.
So yeah, I think we can start wrapping things up. But before we'll do this, once again, if you have any questions, requests, or anything else for us, as translators or just as Russian bronies in general, because I don't know, maybe you would like to learn something about Russian bronies, Russian brony culture, we can provide this as well. We'll wrap this up. Is there like any mistake you made, like what is like the silliest and most shameful mistake you have in your career, which you been shamed by this day? If there is any, of course. Or maybe you just like this perfect translator who always doing everything perfect and never made a single mistake. In this case, I envy you. So. Okay. While other guys trying to gather their thoughts, I think I will start with myself, because first we can start with Шути. Шути, помнишь, когда мы целый абзац накосячили каким-то чудом?
Какой именно?
Ну, помнишь, мы накосячили абзац в главе, потом в следующей главе мы там к этому абзацу была отсылка, мы поняли, что мы перевели его неправильно.
Я помню, речь Пикулера мы неправильно перевели.
Да, вот это то, о чем я говорю.
Ну, знаешь, были моменты и похуже. Я, допустим, коут перевел не как шерсть, а как пальто. Поэтому горничная из Элизиума у нас теперь в пальто ходит.
Yeah, so at one point we completely mistranslated the speech of one of the characters by the name Peculiar, and this originally thought that this was meant one thing, but then we go to the next chapter and that speech was referenced in that chapter, and it was referenced in completely another context, and we just like, well, we fucked up. So yeah, we had to go back and completely redo it at that point. And another thing Shuki remembered is way back in the beginning, the chapter 1, he translated coat as like clothes instead of like the horse coat and fur. So yeah, we now have workers in Elysium wearing coats because why not? So yeah, I think Vai had something to say about the matter. Vai?
One moment.
Okay. Don't have to wait.
Да, у меня на самом деле есть что рассказать, потому что самая основная наша проблема — это вычетка. Вычетка никогда не кончается. Никогда.
Yes.
Это правда.
Yes, that is. We have like 3 guys who do proofreading. And yeah, Vai said that proofreading is never ends, and that is an absolute truth.
Да, самый простой пример то, что даже во время игровых тестов, которые у нас, ну, даже не игровых тестов, а обычных казуальных игр, когда мы просто собираемся и просто решим поиграть в то, что мы переводили, мы сидим, мы такие, да, стоп, нет, что-то какая-то здесь фигня получается. Перепроверяем с английским, такие, бляха-буха, мы здесь неправильно дали свойства карте, неправильно дали описание или вообще не то изображение используем, и такие, черт, надо записать список ошибок. И если не соврать, то по 2-3 ошибки каждый раз во время игровых тестов мы точно находим. Хотя, казалось бы, сколько можно за 4 года.
Yeah. So, as I said, even during like, despite a lot of proof testing we had for years and years we're working on that, during playtesting we still found like a lot of like mistakes and typos which shouldn't be supposed to, because there was a lot of stuff. And I can find because even when we doing like proofreadings and other like over and over again, with each next proofread we find more and more mistakes and typos we haven't seen before. So yeah,
I think the biggest translation fuck up each and every Russian brony has to deal with is the official Russian dub of My Little Pony.
Oh
yes. One of the biggest problems in translating names is present right there. To translate or not to translate. So name translation is, although necessary, can be fucked up so royally, which it was in My Little Pony.
Mostly because it was only half translated and other half was not, and it looked extremely weird.
Yeah, the names are gorgeous, especially the name of Nightmare Moon, which was the first ever Russian pony meme.
Лунная пони, ты лунная пони.
Я знаю, кто ты такая. Ты лунная пони, лунная пони. Yeah, basically, they translated Mare in the Moon and Nightmare Moon as Moon Pony. So when Twilight calls out Nightmare Moon, she says like, I know who you are. You're Moon Pony, Moon Pony, and everybody goes, oh.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a question from Nail F. Not funny question, guys. What do you think about the translation of Metro Exodus? I can't say about the translation. I played only through like very first act, but Russian voice acting are beyond horrible. Like, Jesus Christ, it's like kindergarten to play. I don't know. It's absolutely pain to listen to it. I mean, I was thinking listen to the Russian voice acting, just like, okay, guys, I can do better. Literally anything to do better. Every person who watching this translation, either as recording or in chat, can act better than the people in Russian Metro Exodus. I don't know why, but it's so painful to listen to it.
Wait,
I
Metro
never heard the
Exodus
English
Russian
text.
translation is horrible, right?
No.
I've never played.
I can't say about like the actual translation, like the quality of text, but the voice act, like the acting itself is, I don't know. As I said, it's kindergarten play. Like if you're like 3 years old and you hold on.
Слышь, может, ты продолжишь?
Okay, yeah. So I really don't know about Metro Exodus. I've never played it, but I really hope that the translation is okay. And since we've just established that the acting really sucks, I'm really surprised because such games, for me, should always be Russian language first. Like, I believe that all the Witcher games must be Slavic language first, and Kingdom Come Deliverance probably, and Metro games and Stalker games, and I'm really surprised that it sucks balls. But I've never played Metro Exodus. I've played like the first two games. They were okay-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of game translation, there is a huge channel dedicated, a huge program on a YouTube channel dedicated to horrible or not so horrible translation of games from English into Russian, which is basically called Lost in Translation. Трудности перевода.
Yeah,
Трудности перевода Stop Game, замечательно.
Yes, I believe we already finished that series with Last of Us 2.
Yes, that series started out with Last of Us, the game Last of Us, great game, and it's gonna finish with Last of Us 2. And so far, until the Last of Us 2 hasn't been released, we're just waiting for it to be released, because the episode before that, which was, I don't remember what, it was the last one. Months ago.
So yeah, Paul Rusak actually makes my point for me. In Metro Exodus, main problem is not about translation, but the voice acting. Yes. So I never see an English text, so I don't know how correctly it was translated. And frankly, I don't care, because with this voice acting, it doesn't matter.